as well as Mayor Jennings in the November election.
Issues facing the city at a press conference today. She was standing in front of the old St. Joseph's building on Swan and 2nd Streets in Arbor Hill. Green says she'd like to turn the old place into a criminal justice center to provide crime prevention programs. She'd also like it to have services that will help reintegrate ex-cons into the community once they've done their time. And programs for children involved in gangs and violence will also be available.
We are destroying. I'm just delighted to find out from the Justice Department that violent crime is continuing to decline. However, that's not much comfort to people in a number of our neighborhoods. They are still plagued by crime, by drugs, and violence.
One of the biggest parts of Green's campaign is a push to keep families from moving out of the city. In November, she'll face incumbent Jerry Jennings and Republican Joe Sullivan in this year's mayoral election.
Senators spent the day in Albany campaigning alongside Alice Green. The two were speaking out on the proposed convention center in downtown Albany. Green believes the $185 million being used for the convention center would be better spent on affordable housing.
The city of Albany is engaged in building a convention center. At least there's a proposal to build a convention center. And is paying great attention to downtown development while all of these people are without good, affordable housing. We call for the city of Albany to reject a convention center.
Green's opponent, Mayor Jerry Jennings, has been vocal in his support of the convention center plan.
For heartfelt condolences to the families affected by the recent tragedies. She says these attacks have left many people scared and frustrated.
There are no quick fix solutions to individual forms of crime and violence. I understand that. But I think in the long run, we will all be safer if we pay attention to the causes that I think so many people know about already.
Green also says it's the mayor's responsibility to talk with the community and think of ways to prevent the crimes from happening.
Alice Green at the helm, New York chapter of the National Organization for Women endorsing Alice Green today, saying she is the best choice for women, minorities, pretty much everyone. The Green Party candidate faces the tough incumbent Mayor Jerry Jennings and Republican challenger Joe Sullivan.
The National Organization for Women put their support behind the Green Party candidate today.
With Miss Green at the helm, Albany will thrive and become the city that it needs to be.
As you probably know, very few people of color and very few women have positions, high-level positions in the city administration, and we will work to change that immediately.
But just last month, Peter Yarrow, the founder of Operation Respect and a member of Peter, Paul and Mary, put his support behind the Green Party candidate.
A crime problem and friction between the community and an embattled police force.
In a small studio, Republican nominee Joe Sullivan and Green Party candidate Alice Green told voters listening on WAMC or watching on local cable TV why they wanted to be mayor of Albany. The discussion was low-key but filled with major differences on police.
I'm not frankly worried about the Civilian Police Review Board. I think it ought to be abolished. I think we've got to take the handcuffs off the police and let them do their jobs.
We need to diversify the police force so that there are people there who understand the communities in which they work.
It would have been interesting to see where Mayor Jennings fit in between the other two candidates' widely varying views. But as he has throughout this election season, Jennings chose to be in another part of the city when the debate was going on.
I'm running the city, and people know my record. They know what I've done for the last 12 years, and if people feel they can do better, they can get their message out that way.
The disappointing thing is that we could not get the mayor involved in discussing a lot of these issues. I think that would have served the Albany community if we had done that.
I think he should be able to stand up and say, here's what I've accomplished in the last 12 years, here are some of the things I haven't done, and here's what I would like to do if you re-elect me in the next 4 years. That's all the mayor has to do, and he hasn't really said that.
Jennings is running like a candidate who thinks he has a big lead, with no public polls to contradict that assumption. We'll find out Tuesday whether Albany voters assess any penalty for refusing to appear with your opponents to discuss and debate your differences. Bill Lambton, News Channel 13, Albany.
tackles a variety of transportation issues facing the city. Green says she supports increased funding for mass transit and also wants free buses in downtown Albany during the weekdays. In addition to improving mass transit, Green says people could also start pedaling to work.
We could also reduce the use of cars by increasing the use of bicycles. In other cities around the country and also in Europe, they're now relying upon public bicycles where you can actually either get a free bicycle or rent a bicycle right in the city for somebody.
Green also wants all CDTA buses converted to non-diesel fuel to improve air quality.
Well, Tuesday's Election Day, as everyone knows, and one Albany candidate is using the time between now and then to gather up a few more votes. Mayoral hopeful Alice Green hit the sidewalks of Arbor Hill Sunday afternoon, encouraging people to get out there and vote. Green says that she wants to make sure everyone is aware of how the voting process works. Through her campaign, Green has also stressed the importance of families, and with only 2 days left, she's sticking to it.
And my vision for Albany is that the city itself will put families first, that we will look at all the ways that we can help strengthen families so that families can provide the nurturing and the love and the caring that every person needs in order to be a constructive member of our community.
Green ran for lieutenant governor on that same line back in 1998. She faces incumbent Jerry Jennings and Joe Sullivan.
With the countdown to Election Day ticking, the candidates for mayor in Albany are trying to be more visible than ever. Joe Sullivan, the Republican who ran for office before, went door to door, making a last-minute plea to voters.
I think we really do need some changes here in the city of Albany and get away from this party line voting.
Dr. Alice Green, who's running on the Green Party line, agrees. She also pounded the pavement, making sure voters know exactly what she stands for.
All of the nice things that are being built downtown are fine. I enjoy them, but we've got to make sure that our families are taken care of.
The incumbent mayor, Jerry Jennings, the Democrat, spent Sunday attending events like this one in Albany, where he runs into a lot of people mindful of Tuesday's election.
People are telling me, Mayor, we've watched you work extremely hard for 12 years. We're going to support you, and that's all I ask them to do. Recognize the commitment I've made in the past and give me another 4 years to try and fine-tune and finish this job.
Many say all this last-minute campaigning could be moot because they believe Jennings is a shoo-in. There are no public polls to confirm this, but the candidates seem to be running three very different campaigns. Jennings has an extensive TV ad campaign. He spent more than $100,000 on this race. Compare that with Dr. Green's $7,000 and Sullivan's $60. Aside from the sharp contrast, Jennings has refused to debate his differences on education, property taxes, crime, and other issues with his opponents.
I don't think the city's going to be the same after this. People are going to demand that we deal with a lot of those issues that we raised.
I haven't heard anything new from any of the individuals running against me that I'm not very aware of. I'm a street mayor. I know what's going on in this city.
Race right down to the city council and on the streets. How to stem youth violence. How to monitor, if at all, the city's police department. Well, of course, the most talked about race has been the battle for the mayor's office in the capital city, but battle might not be the best word. You see, despite the requests of his challengers, Mayor Jennings has not taken part in a debate, and he may not have had to. Though there's been no formal polling, many observers of this race say it may be a foregone conclusion. And it might be another term for Jerry Jennings. His opponents, though, are not so quick to say the same. And truth be told, no one knows how this vote will break down, especially in the wake of today's newly released crime statistics that show violent crime in Albany is twice the national average. Tonight, why you should get their vote and their words.
Hello, I'm Alice Green. I'm running on the Green Party for the mayor of the city of Albany. I think you should vote for me because I have been a part of the city for 40 years. I've worked here, I've raised a family. I have a background in social welfare, education, and criminal justice. And that gives me an opportunity to present a number of solutions to the problems that I see in Albany. I also come with a vision, and that vision is to make Albany a city that puts families first.
Hello, I'm Joe Sullivan. I'm the Republican candidate for the mayor of the city of Albany on row A.
the last remaining hours to do what they have to in order to reach their constituents.
We plan to be out on the streets, going door to door right up until the very end.
I've been out around the neighborhood where I live, and I've been going door to door and talking with voters and leaving some literature.
Well, I'm running the city. I have a very full schedule, and I'm going to do what I have to do. And, you know, we'll wait and see what happens tomorrow.
Despite the fact that all three candidates have been out campaigning, not all Albany residents are familiar with who is on the ballot.
I know of Alice Green. I know she's running. Anyone else? No, I have no idea.
I think it's the present mayor, Mayor Jennings, and maybe some lady Alice something. I'm not sure about her.
Alice Green? Nobody else. No, I really don't know who's running for mayor.
The candidates are confident voters will make the right choice on Tuesday.
I have the best stand on the issues that are important to the city of Albany, namely the problem of public safety and dealing with the crime problems that we have.
We have a great, bold vision for the city of Albany, that we really want Albany to become the city that puts families first.
I feel good. People have recognized how hard I've worked for 12 years and all the changes that we've effected, but they also recognize there's more work to do together.
And we'll know just what kind of impact their campaigning has had when the polls close. In Albany, Jamie Caslow, Capital News 9. Republican Joe Sullivan. All of the candidates say even though Election Day is finally here, their work does not stop now.
We plan to be out on the streets, going door to door right up until the very end.
I've been out around the neighborhood where I live, and I've been going door to door and talking with voters and leaving some literature.
Well, I'm running the city. I have a very full schedule, and I'm going to do what I have to do. And, you know, we'll wait and see what happens.
While the candidates differ on specific issues impacting the city, all say fighting crime is a top priority.
After casting a vote in his fourth run for Albany's top job, a job he is confident he'll be holding on to for another 4 years.
People have recognized the past 12 years of this administration, what we tried to do, and they also recognize we have a lot of work to do together, and that's what we're going to run on in the next 4 years.
A little while earlier and just down the road, Green Party candidate Alice Green was optimistic as she voted at School 19.
I'm hoping that the vote will indicate that the citizens of Albany really heard what I was saying and that they were responding in a positive way. So it's a big day for me.
Republican Joe Sullivan put on a relatively quiet campaign, but believes he got his message across on issues like crime.
It's like playing the lottery. You got to be in it to win it, you know. But I'm actually looking forward to the challenge. I hope that the people decide to elect me, and I really feel that I've got some very strong stands.
The mayor is running for a fourth term in office, but his opponents point to a city that could stand improvement, starting with what they say is a flawed school system and a city riddled with crime. There have been several homicides in the past month and a string of attacks on college students.
We need to be talking about how do we prevent crime and how do we treat people, and we're going to have to address the root causes of it in order for us to really be a truly safe community.
The mayor received a lot of criticism for not being willing to debate some of his opponents. He responded by saying he's pretty busy, that he has a city to run. Now, he told me earlier today that if he is re-elected, he'll have to reflect upon whether or not he will make this a final term in office or possibly run for public office again. The polls are open in Albany and throughout the Capital Region until 9 o'clock tonight. Benita.
Mayor Jennings is facing challenges from Green Party candidate Alice Green and Republican Joe Sullivan, both of whom have been busy this election day. Now, both candidates believe they have a fighting chance, even though they're perceived as underdogs to the three-term mayor. Green has been greeting voters across the city. She's been a vocal critic of Mayor Jennings' plans for development, specifically his plan to build a convention center. She also says Jennings is out of touch when it comes to fighting crime. Green's main message to those who haven't voted:
Well, it's very important that people come out and vote, first of all. We certainly hope they'll come out and vote for us, but it's important to vote.
Live in Albany tonight, where the candidates are taking the campaign down to the wire. Regina?
That's right, Ann. You know, even though Jerry Jennings sweeped the primary in September, he and the two other opponents running against him were still out over the weekend and today doing a lot of meeting, greeting, and politicking with potential supporters. It's down to the wire for Democratic incumbent Jerry Jennings and Alice Green, the woman looking to unseat the longtime Albany mayor. Jennings was confident enough of an easy re-election to a fourth term that he declined to debate, saying his past performance speaks for itself.
I make this a full contact sport. You know, I could go in that office and sit there and not do a darn thing and just say, oh, everything's hunky-dory. That's not my style.
A Green Party candidate, Green said she was disappointed by the mayor's decision not to debate the issues. She has waged some harsh criticism against the mayor and says many residents are ready for change from the current administration.
People are really frustrated by the democratic process and the way that it's played out in the city. They're starting to be reminded of the old Corning political machine that was in existence for 42 years.
Jennings says he's made some bold moves in the city over his 12 years in office, and he's not finished yet.
I have my own style of leadership. After being mayor for 12 years, yes, you're going to upset some people, but I can't please everyone. What I have to do is look at this city as the capital of the state of New York, a city I've grown up in, I love, and I'm going to continue to move forward with it, with a lot of the plans that have come up from a grassroots.
But that may not be the case if Alice Green gets her way.
I'm feeling extremely confident. I've talked to so many people all across the city and find that there's a lot of dissatisfaction